Hello garden friends. I thought today was a good day as ever to introduce you to my little garden patch. Now this is coming from a person who up until last year did not plant a single flower. So I am a definite novice in the area of flowers, but this is my experiment for the year to introduce myself to flowers and start a flower garden. So I have this, let me move back so you can see the shape of it. So this little patch of earth in between the cement walkways in the house, and it had mostly weeds but some other grasses growing in here. Up until last year in fall, I covered it with some cardboard boxes and then dug up most of the weeds and grasses, and then I extended it because it stopped here where you can see the cement there. That's where it ended and came across here, but then I extended it a little bit into the lawn here. So I'm going to go back to the front and show you the plants that are growing in here. Maybe one of them will be of interest to you. So first up here is the marigold, and this is a Chica Flame marigold, and it is gorgeous. This was the first flower to pop up in this patch, and so I am eternally in love with this flower and will probably grow it every year. And at the bottom here I just sprinkled some sweet alyssum. This is the snow, carpet of snow, and to fill in the space, because I already planted these ones here and they had come up and started producing flowers, but they were not filling in the space as quickly as I had wanted, so I put some more seeds down. But now that I've done that, I can see that these plants would have filled it up if I had been patient, but I was not. So this is the, like I said, this is carpet of snow, sweet alyssum. The flowers are very small, dainty, and I love them. They do the ground cover pretty well. And behind it is another sweet alyssum. I believe this one is I think it's the royal carpet. Now I wish I knew for sure, because this is the one I would love to plant again. It is very short, so compare it to this one here. See, it does get a bit lanky. This one literally grows on the floor and flowers from there, so it's a much better ground cover in my opinion. And I like it looks very densely planted. So it does have purple and white leaves, not leaves, flowers, but it's very pretty. So all around the edges I try to put some ground cover. So this sweet alyssum is over here as well, more marigolds lining the edges. So if I pan out a little bit, you can see I have marigolds on either side of the flower bed here. And then coming over this way, I also have some other marigolds. I don't remember because I didn't label them, but I don't remember which one these are, but they're definitely a bigger variety. Now, going back to more the middle of the row, now that I've showed you the edges. Okay, so this here, I did make a video earlier planting these, but this is the purple ball basil from Baker's Creek. Some under here are being shaded, so they don't look very purple. They have more green to them, so if they get more sun, they get more purple. So here, these I planted and I winter sowed, and I didn't give them enough sun, so they grew pretty lanky. And then I buried them. What is this? Yeah, okay. I buried them deeper, like you would plant tomatoes deep, to try to force it to be more bushy, and that's exactly what happened. So here, now this one, I know I made a video earlier talking about how to propagate your basil, but this one is the one I had cut the entire top off by mistake, so I just stuck the root system with the stem that was still attached in the ground. I think it did have a few leaves, and it's doing quite well. And then the top portion I planted sideways, and that one's also actually looks much better than these ones. It formed a pretty good ball. Now these are the only flowers here that I did not plant from seed. These are lavender. I bought these from the big box store. This one is actually starting to bloom, and the reason I bought it is I planted lavender, and some of them, they did germinate, but one of them was destroyed by the frost. I didn't time it properly, so a lot of the seedlings died, and the other ones were in soil that was not very good, so they were stunted. So I did manage to salvage a couple of them, which I did eventually plant in here. So those are these little plants. They're like single stems. These, I have two varieties of lavender in here. I have pink elegance, which is this one here, and then I have a purple one. I don't remember the name. I think it's the Vera, which I put in the middle because it's taller. So I have like 6 or so plants in here, but I knew it would take a while for them to establish. They were really tiny when I put them in, so I just bought these two more established. Actually, it was one plant, and I split it in two, so it was just one container. I simply, cut it down the middle and put it in to make 2 plants. So that's that. But those were the only ones I didn't plant from seed. Some more sweet alyssum, my favorite marigold. And even when the flowers are dying off, they still look very pretty. So this one is an old one that you could possibly deadhead, but I leave them in because they still look gorgeous. Now here I have a chrysanthemum and another one there. So I had 2 plants survive from the winter sowing, and I threw in some snapdragons. They are kind of leaning to the side, but I have some snapdragons in here. And then I put a little plug of creeping thyme in here. It's kind of being covered by this sweet alyssum, but it's in here, hoping to establish it, especially for next year. So that's the creeping thyme. More marigolds. And then behind here I have some bee balm. I have the Spearton mix bee balm, I think is what I planted here. And then I have some salvia here. This is salvia. This was also planted in some soil that stunted it, so I had to transplant it to another container and then baby it a little bit before putting it in the ground, which is why it's still so small. This one is also a bee balm. I don't remember the name of this one. And then I have some gomphrena. I planted a white gomphrena, a red, and a mixed pack, and for some reason they were all in the same container, but only the red came up, which was weird. So all the gomphrena I have here are, I think it's Strawberry Fields is the name from Baker's Creek. And so that's this here, these ones. So 2 rows of gomphrena. And then, oh, these are looking so beautiful. I didn't realize they were branching out. These are yarrow. These are yarrow. I have 2 rows here of, I know one of them is more, I think, pink stalks, and then the one in the back is white. So these are salvia, not salvia, yarrow. And I love how the leaves are different. I wasn't expecting that. The leaves of this one are completely different from these ones here. And the leaves themselves are ornamental. They're pretty to me. I tucked in some more snapdragons in the various spots in the yard. Now this is the other marigold that I don't know which one it is. It hasn't even started budding up yet, so it looks like it's going to be much taller than the chica flame, which are more dwarfed. Now this here is coreopsis, and I love the way the flower buds look. They look like little balls. You see that? And the leaves are so small and dainty. Just look at them blooming around. That's pretty. Alright, here I have a black-eyed Susan. This one is going to be the first to flower for me. Alright, some more. I believe these are also black-eyed Susans. These ones, I'm not quite sure. I put them in and of course did not label, and I know they're not black-eyed Susans because they're really short and they're trying to flower. Maybe there's some kind of echinacea. Not sure. This one too. I'll know when it flowers, but I don't know right now. And then coming around this way, I have some cosmos that I transplanted in here, and they're doing wonderful. I love the leaves. They remind me of the coreopsis leaves. They look like ferns though. They're fern-like, but they're so dainty. I like delicate leaves. They haven't started flowering yet, but just the leaves are so pretty. More black-eyed Susans. Now this plant here is another coreopsis, and it was beaten down by the rain yesterday, so the flowers are not as pretty as they usually are, but there are a lot of flowers there, buds waiting to open. I love the pop of yellow here. So I have some yellow here, I have this chica flame here, and then I really wanted to show you this one because this plant may not be staying too long in the garden. This is a clematis, which was actually already here before I cleared the place out. I had dug the roots up and then I decided to put it back because I didn't know what it was. And when I figured out it was a coreopsis, I built this trellis out of ladder mesh. That's what it is, I think, ladder mesh. And some wire. This wire here is what is from chicken wire. This is what was used to wrap the chicken wire, and I just put it here to build the trellis. And it was growing beautifully, but now it has this, looks like a fungus. And the other plant on the other side has it as well, and that one's really bad. I'm going to pull that one completely. It hasn't even made any flowers or flower buds. It looks a bit stunted. But this one did grow up the trellis a bit, so you can see it's kind of at the top of the trellis. But so far I've only had one flower, and that's it here. The flower is divine. It is beautiful. Let me see if I can move this so you can see. It's very gorgeous, but this fungal disease looks like it's going to be hard to treat. They actually don't talk about treatment, more prevention and then pulling all the leaves off, and I am not here for a fussy garden. I don't have the energy for it. So what I've done is, down at the bottom here, I planted some black-eyed Susan seeds. Is the vining type, and it has yellow flowers, and my plan is if they come up, I'll let them climb up this trellis and pull the clematis because I don't want to add more to my workload. This plant here, I have no idea what it is. It looks like some kind of hedge or shrub that was here already in the garden. I tried to pull it up and it was quite difficult to pull up, so I decided to leave it in and see what it came up as. I like the leaves. They have this silvery look to them, especially the undersides. This one here is a Gaillardia, and the flower has been beaten up by the rain, so it's not pretty, not as pretty. It is still very pretty, but it does have more buds coming up. I had 4 plants in here. For some reason the other 3 died, so this is the only one that's going to I actually replanted some of them. It's a wildflower. I think it might be hardy to my zone, so I'm going to plant it in other places and see if I have better luck next year. But the flower is very beautiful. It's a mixed pack. The one I have, I got from Baker's Creek as well. So I expect to see different colored flowers. I hope so. And then I put some wild thyme in here. So the sweet alyssum is an annual, and this is a perennial. I would like to see how this one does. It's supposed to have purple flowers. It's supposed to be, I don't know if it creeps. I'm not sure if it's the same variety as the creeping thyme. This one was called wild thyme. We'll see how it does. Whichever way is going to be pretty, so that works. All right, so let me back up and give you an overview of the patch, and I'll make videos to show you as it grows. Just a month ago this place looked like a barren land, and now it looks like this. It makes me happy when I come out in the mornings. The first thing I see, a lot of color. Initially wanted to make it just a perennial garden, but then when I was planting, I decided to need something for the borders, and I put the marigolds in here, which I initially had intended to put in the vegetable garden. And I'm so glad I did that, because the perennials are not flowering really at all yet, but the annuals are just showing off. So I have no problem putting in marigolds every year. They're pretty easy to plant. I winter sowed them, so I put a bunch of seeds in one solo cup, and they came up. They were easy to separate. They did very well. I don't think even one of them died from being separated, and I wasn't very gentle with them, so I think that was a good idea, and I might continue to do that every year. Now I'm going to walk around and show you some other flowers I have in the garden that are not in this spot. So here in the shade I have some Shasta daisies, which I planted last year. So last year I planted only, let me see how many plants I did. I did this Shasta daisy, the alyssum, gold dust alyssum, which is a perennial alyssum, and black-eyed Susans, and the zinnia. I did it was like a striped, it was a mixed pack, but it was a striped zinnia. So those are the 4 flower plants I did. Now this one did not bloom last year, and the alyssum did not bloom last year. So I only had zinnia and black-eyed Susan flowers, but that was enough to get me hooked. So this year I separated the Shasta daisies, because it was all in one 3-gallon container, and it was really root bound. So I separated it, and out of that one container I got these. Here I have 2 plantings, and then 3 in another area I'll show you, and 2 in the front. So I was able to make like 6 or so separations, and I love these daisies. I just love watching them from the porch, just waving in the wind. They are very pretty. They're easy to see because there's white with the yellow in the middle. They're just gorgeous. I love them. So this has been a joy for me. Now I also put some more, I think these are the yarrow, the leftover I put in here, and then some more black-eyed Susans. That most of these were pulled from the yard where they self-seeded. I have a calendula here which has not flowered, and then a couple more calendulas here that have flower buds. They haven't done anything yet. And then this is the other planting of the Shasta daisies. It looks like one big group, but it's actually 3 that I separated into, but it's filled in the space. It has a lot of flower buds, a lot of flowers. I always see the pollinators buzzing around here. It is gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And then over here, I think these are lilies. Correct me if I'm wrong if you know what these are called. I pulled them from an area in the middle of the yard where we had a tree that we cut down. It had a lot of bulbs in there, so a lot of them were crushed a bit by when the tree fell and with the workers and all that. So I moved a couple of them here. I'm not expecting anything of them this year, but they seem to have liked this area, even though the soil here is horrendous and I haven't really watered them or done anything. And today I came out to this. This is why I love to garden. Just look at this gift. Isn't she pretty? Yeah, so I think next year when they're dormant, I might move a couple more of them out here so I can enjoy them as well. I do have a few more flowers I want to show you, so hold on. Okay, we've zipped across the yard, and this here has ended up being one of my favorite flowers because of the vibrant color. This is the wild violet petunia from Baker's Creek. Look at her blowing the wind. Look at that. Some more black-eyed Susans. you'll see that I'm obviously obsessed with them because they are everywhere. But see, she's about to open up, I think. And then my gift from yesterday. There you go, a white petunia. So I think I've showed you all of my flowers. And I want to say thank you for joining me in the garden. Thank you for letting this novice flower gardener show off her flowers. This is pretty much the reason I started this channel, is to find garden friends I can share this with, because I don't have a lot of friends in real life who are interested in gardening or flowers at all. So I needed friends to share this with, and I thank you for being that garden friend. Thank you for joining me today. If you liked the video, please like the video, subscribe and follow. Leave me a comment if you have flowers in your garden that you love, that you recommend, especially if they're not fussy or need a lot of attention. I would love to investigate some more flowers I can put in my garden. Bonus if they are rabbit resistant. Thank you, garden friends. I'll see you in the next one.